In this video, I'm going to show you step-by-step instructions on how to replace the charging port on the Samsung S10. The same applies for the S10 Plus as well. I've already preheated the back cover of this phone and it is nice and warm now, so I'm just going to pop a suction cup on there and I'm going to carefully lift up, and you can see that it comes away quite easily after it's had 10 minutes on the hot plate at 85 degrees C. I'm going to continue lifting, add in a little bit of isopropyl alcohol just down here and here, and then carry on lifting to remove that back cover. Now, unlike a lot of other Samsung models, replacing the charging port on this model will require you to do a little bit of soldering. So I'm going to fly through the teardown, because if you're already feeling confident to take on the soldering part of this job, you're probably already confident with a screwdriver. So we're just going to go ahead and remove all the screws holding down this little black cover that covers up all the logic board on this one. As you can see, not a single screw has come out with the magnet, which is a little bit annoying, but that's the kind of day it's going to be today. And I missed another one here. I'm not informed. This is my first job this morning. There's a fair few screws that you need to remove. Let's just say that. So once all the screws are out of there, we're going to find these little prime points on the plastic so that we can lift up all the shields that's holding the motherboard into place. I'm just going to follow it around. Always use plastic tools to disconnect flex cables. It's just a much safer way to do things. And the display flex needs to be disconnected, because as you can see, this board is attached all the way around here. It's quite a large motherboard, and it's quite a fragile motherboard as well, so just be careful when you're removing it. The SIM tray needs to come out the top. A few more screws holding down this logic board. 2 at the bottom, and I think 1 just at the top here. Do a quick check to make sure all the flex cables are removed, which I've not took the flex for the audio jack, which is my favorite one to remove. I don't know why I find it so satisfying to just poke the tweezers in there and pop it up, but I do. To remove this board, I'm going to go in just here by the SIM tray, and I'm just going to lift it up, being very careful not to tangle up on any flex cables, and I'll wiggle it down the bottom and pull it out like that. So as you can see, it's all in one. So this board, normally on Samsungs you'll find that there's a subboard like that, and then instead of this big bit here, it's a flex cable, but it looks like they ran out of space at the top because of the large cameras right in the middle of the motherboard. So they put the CPU and eMCC chip on this right hand edge, which is a bit unfortunate if you just wanted a quick easy swap of the charging port. Anyway, there's a microphone just to the left hand side of the logic board that I'm going to just add a little bit of Kapton tape over, because we are going to blast some fairly hot heat at this charging port. That'll look something like that. Now, to remove the charging port, I'm just going to grab hold of the port itself like that, and then I'm going to be using the heat gun, and I've got this set to 330 degrees C. I'm using the Quick 861DW heat gun, and it's set to 330 and 120 airspeed. I'm just going to point it directly at the charging port, holding it in my hand, so that what I'm hoping that will happen is that the charge port will stay in my hand and the motherboard should drop out the bottom. It doesn't always work that way, and you might need to manipulate it a little bit. It's just come loose now, and it drops out just like that. So that's it, removed. Very quick, very easy. Now that we've got the charging port removed, this can be disposed of, and then we're going to add some flux onto this area here. And the solder that's already on there, so the stock solder, is fairly high melting temperature. So I'm just going to add some 183 to mix it in and lower the overall melting temperature of the solder on here, because we want to get it out of these little lugs here and here. We want to make sure that that's nice and clear. So now that we've mixed that in, we're going to get some solder wick to clean it out. I quite like the Tool QUUL soldering wick, mainly because somebody sent it to me for free. A very kind man at Digi4U, Tai Wong. Thank you very much, Mr. Wong. I appreciate it. And it works well as well. It's not just that I got it for free. It works really well. I'll just add a bit more flux onto there. The flux that I'm using is some Amtech flux that I've just decanted into a smaller syringe. Now I'll grip the solder wick with my tweezers, and then I'm just going to remove any of the solder that's left behind, mainly in those lugs. That's the most important thing. Get all out of there, make sure that it's nice and clean, and then it's going to give the new charging port the best chance of sitting flat when we go to install it. I'll try and show you the best that I can exactly what's going on here, but I know this camera zoom isn't the best, but hopefully you understand what I'm doing here. It looks like there is a pad removed. I'm not sure if that's important or not. It looks like it's going nowhere. It doesn't look like it's doing anything, but I'm going to just test it to make sure that it's not a super important pad, because if we lose that one, that might be the reason why it's not working. So it's got a lot of sticky, gunky flux on there now, so I'm just going to add some isopropyl alcohol, clean it up with a Q-tip or earbud, whatever you want to call it. Then we'll go again with some more flux, some fresh flux this time, just to help things flow better and help the heat spread. And we're going to go with some 183 solder, and we're aiming for nice fluffy pads. I think Jessa from iPad Rehab puts it best, and they want to be like fluffy pillows. So plenty of solder on those pads. I'll be honest, my tip on my soldering iron was filthy then, and it spread some of that filth onto the pad, so I'm going to just clean it up one more time. Just a note to self to keep my soldering tip clean, just like that. As always, I've managed to secure myself some genuine Samsung. This is meant to be a service pack. It doesn't look like one, it just comes on some little plastic boxes like that. But these are genuine charging ports, straight from our Samsung supplier. I'll pop a link in the description below on where you can buy these. And realistically, you want to raise the board up a little bit so that it's got somewhere to sit. So I'm just going to plonk it straight onto this little fiberglass battery jig thing that I've got, and we're just going to pop it straight on there like that. Actually, scrap that. I'm going to show you a quick tip. So pre-tinning is just getting a bit of solder onto those pads so that when it meets the other pads, it's just going to stick real nice and secure down. I say stick, I mean melt. If I ever say stick when I'm soldering, I mean the metals are melting and sticking together in a sort of fashion. Not sticking, but soldering. Add a bit of flux onto this bottom here. So there's enough solder on the wick, on the tip of my iron to get this wetted up nicely. Again, when I say wetted up, I mean wetted up with solder. And I'll run some on this edge as well because it secures down there. Now that that is tinned or wetted up, however you want to say it, we'll bring the board back over, plonk it into place until it sits where it's exactly meant to go. And then we're just going to come back with the heat gun, and we are going to heat it up until it melts onto there, or sticks onto there. So I'm at the same temperature again, 330 degrees C, 120 wind speed. It's not going to hurt anything at this temperature, but it could melt other components, so just be careful what you poke in and pushing. There's no way on these to tell if it's actually soldered into place or not. You can see when the ground pins on either side have melted, that's a good indicator that the pads themselves will have melted and secured into place. Make sure that it sits flat, it looks good, and that back edge secures down as well. So that should be now sturdy, solid, into place. I'm just going to give it a minute to cool down because I don't want to flip it over, which is what I'm going to do next, only to find that it's still a little bit wet, the solder, but that should be enough time to cool down. And then the last thing that we need to do is just make sure that we get a little bit of solder on these lugs here and here. So I prefer doing it from the back side. Add a bit of flux, and then with the soldering iron, I'm just going to touch the ground lugs on one side, and then once it's hot enough, it'll melt the solder, and that's going to like sort of suck through until it's solid, really. Make sure there's plenty of solder goes in there, because they're pretty important to holding down the rest of the charging port. They're like the anchors. Let's check from the other side that it's soaked through, which I can see that it has either side. Probably just touch that one up a little bit. Now we're going to soak it with some isopropyl alcohol. Should have waited a little bit more for it to cool down. That was a bad example. And I'm just using a little horsehair brush to make sure that it's all secured down. Same on the other side. We'll flip it back over and just give it all a real good cleaning up. So now it's just a case of reinstalling the logic board back into the chassis. Always start with the bottom first because that needs to slide in. Watch out for the flex cable for the screen and also for the battery. Make sure that's out of the way, and then it should all sit down fairly nice once it's in properly. They're just a little bit awkward and faffy, these ones. We'll plug the screen back in now, then reattach the audio jack and plug it in. Don't forget to connect the battery. Then of course there were 2 crosshead screws either side of the USB-C connector, and then the other one goes just above the right hand camera in the bottom right of the ear speaker. Before testing it, you will get a bad result if you don't attach the wireless charging coil. It needs to be secured down there, and you might get like overheating notifications without that attached. So it's best to just put this thing back together before testing it. I know it's inconvenient if you have to go backwards and forwards and something is not right if you've screwed it all down, but you will be leading yourself down a bit of a rabbit hole if you find that every time you swap out the charging port it's giving you an overheating warning. You'll end up thinking that something's not right, keep swapping it out, but the fact of the matter is it's probably just that the wireless charging coil's missing. So make sure that at least these 3 or 4 screws on the bottom edge of this plastic shield are reconnected first before you test it. And whilst I'm screwing this in, make sure that you're already subscribed to the channel. There's literally hundreds of these tutorials for all manner of repairs, and also lots of little tips and tricks that you probably don't get anywhere else. I don't really have any secrets. I just tell everybody how I do things. It's up to you whether you actually do them or not. But I have got a little bit of experience in phone repair and managing a phone repair business as well. So just make sure that all the screws go back in. I know when I was taking it apart I missed out a couple. It's always worth just running an eye over it, and I can see that I've actually missed one at the very top here. This back cover's remained very sticky, and I didn't have a back cover sticker in stock, so I'm going to plonk it back on. Some of you might disagree with me here, but the water resistance is shot anyway because it's got a big crack in the camera lens. I'm going to put it on the heat mat to reactivate that adhesive, and it should be okay. I'll keep an eye on it, and if it starts popping off, then of course I will replace it. Final thing to do is to plug it in, and we should get the charging symbol, but wait a minute, because you get the charging symbol and then you should get a percentage. It might be 0%, it might be more, but you definitely don't want either the water ingress symbol, that means that something's not connected right, or the overheating symbol. But I can see that this is charging. Once it does boot up, we want to see that it is fast charging or super fast charging, because I am using a 30-watt plug for this one. Whilst it's turning on, let's just give it a quick wipe down, because no customer likes to receive a dirty phone back. We'll give the back a wipe as well. But you can see we're on fast charging, an hour and a half until full from 9%, so I'm pretty happy with that. That just about completes this repair. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next video.